And in the T20 between the Prime Minister's 11 and Sri Lanka in Canberra overnight, Sri Lanka has won that one by 5 wickets. Now the 5AA forecast, partly cloudy and 28 today. Tomorrow a possible shower and 24. Saturday a shower or two, a top of 20. A possible shower and 22 Sunday. Then mostly sunny Monday, 25, and sunny for Tuesday, a top of 32 degrees. More news as it happens on 5AA.
1395, Adelaide's 5AA. This is Peter Godfrey.
7 minutes past 5 now, Thursday morning. What have we got temperature-wise? 18 degrees at the moment. Let's head across the ditch to New Zealand. Selwyn Manning, editor of EveningReport.nz, joins us. Good morning, Selwyn. How are you?
Yeah, good morning, Peter. I'm not too bad up this end of the island, Peter, but certainly a lot of rain around at the moment in Auckland. We're going to be getting heavy rain through today, maximum of around about 22 degrees.
Yeah.
The other part of the island, though, that is facing huge fires in a state of civil emergency down in Christchurch region, that's got fine weather and expected to be warm winds blowing those flames high. But we'll talk about that a little bit more, Peter. But they may get a bit more respite we'll get some rain, I should say, later in the week, but that's not going to satisfy the problem that's down there at the moment with things blazing.
Yeah. All right, we'll get into that in more detail in a moment. Currencies, how's the Kiwi dollar?
Yeah, Kiwi dollar, I mean, it's not doing too bad as far as export is concerned. It's down compared to last week. It's down to 72.1 cents US. It was at 73 last week. So it's actually sitting in that band. It's not getting out of that 71 cents to 73 cents band, but it's certainly keeping people satisfied that they can budget on that. That's the exporters over here in New Zealand. If you compare it to Australia, the Australian currency, we're getting around 93.6 cents to the Aussie. And if you compare it the other way around, Peter, you guys, if you're coming across the ditch, the currency exchange rate is at $1.06.8. So just about $1.07. But of course, when you convert it down, you'd be a few cents in your pocket extra. So that's the currency market. It's pretty stable, except it has dipped down, and the value, the Kiwi against the Aussie has dipped down compared to last week slightly there. So it might be because of your strong commodity reports that were coming out in the week, perhaps.
Okay. Now, as far as headlines, we might actually dive into what is the main headline story across probably most of your news sources. These fires. So they started, Monday night, deliberately lit, it's believed. As
we understand it, deliberately lit, Peter, yeah, and you're quite right. The headlines across all the New Zealand news media are absolutely dominated by this. It's the government declared a state of civil emergency in Christchurch yesterday after the scrub fires in the Port Hills area, which border South Christchurch. So anyone who's been to Christchurch will see the only hills you can see in existence just to the south of Christchurch City. Now, they're ablaze at the moment, and people wanted to get an idea, like very well aware that you guys know about your bushfires and things like that, Peter. It's a terrible phenomenon this time of year, isn't it? The best visuals at the moment they can see in the mainstream news media area is Fairfax's Stuff site, and that's just stuff.co.nz. And people can see there some pretty comprehensive coverage. It seems like a joint venture between those and Television New Zealand, which is also streaming stuff through that site. So, but the tragedy right in the early part of this was a helicopter pilot was killed. He was part of the effort of trying to fight this fire, and that was earlier this week, around Tuesday, and it came to pass that he was confirmed as a former New Zealand Defence SAS Special Operations soldier who had served in Afghanistan, and he'd exited the armed forces and was working in that area, and a helicopter pilot, and he succumbed. So it's very sad there, of course. These fires, Peter, the overnight there was around 450 homes were evacuated, and that is as the flames continued to spread. They're out of control, to be frank, and they were moving northward toward the residential areas of Christchurch. The call has been out too, because this is, like you guys would know, these fires, they can move so fast, don't they?
Yeah.
And the word is that anybody that is in that vicinity in Christchurch itself that is worried to evacuate. voluntary evacuation there. But the authorities they forcibly evacuated 450 families last night.
Okay.
That's involving of course, it would be over 1,000 people that have been pulled out of that area. Now, some of the suburbs that are right up in the Port Hills area, the ones just on the south side of this fire, they're not so, that's all Sumner, Red Cliffs and those areas. Now, a lot of these suburbs were absolutely hit hard by the Christchurch earthquake 6-7 years ago now. The problem there is, the place is still pretty much twisted and cragged up. Now, with this particular type of disaster going through the area, a lot of people are saying, poor old, people do go back to that emotional response, don't they? The poor old people of Christchurch getting hit with another big disaster here. And this is on the wake of the 7.8 magnitude earthquake that occurred, of course, back in mid-November 2016, which was just south of Christchurch and Kaikoura. So they've certainly had their fair share of damage over the last few years, Peter.
Yeah, indeed. So what sort of terrain is it that the fire's spreading through? Is it difficult terrain for firefighters to get access to?
Yeah, the Port Hills are very craggy. It's pushed up. It's like comes down. How would I explain this? It's kind of like a continuation of the two plates, the Australasian plate and the Pacific plate, just pushing the land up over the eons, and the terrain that goes down to Littleton Harbour, there's a tunnel between the two to get through. Now, there is a road that goes over the Port Hills toward Littleton Harbour and Littleton itself, but that even around the Christmas period and the New Year period, those roads were closed due to the ongoing problems with the earthquakes. Even the Kaikoura earthquake had made the land unstable around there, so they were all closed. So getting access to them is very challenging, and that may have been part of the beginnings of this, where the fires got out of control, although that's yet to be determined, but it seems like that might be the case. The helicopter efforts, while they are helping to dampen down, and you guys would know very well about the difficulties in trying to tame a fire that's out of control, and that's certainly what's going on there. Now, the terrain around the hills, the Port Hills areas, a lot of dry, parched grass just waiting. It's just tinder dry and waiting to go off, really. There's got not a lot of vegetation on those hills compared to a lot of other parts of New Zealand. So this is an area which can go up in flames very quickly and spread so quickly. And this is obviously what is occurring. It is not going down the peninsula, call it the Banks Peninsula. It's not going down that area. It's mainly around the Christchurch area, heading the north and northwestern areas of the southwestern areas of Christchurch City itself. So that's a problem. Though I understand too that there's been around 40 homes that have been destroyed overnight.
40, okay. Overnight 40. Tonight, this morning. Gee, okay. Now, this it was multiple fires that all merged, or was it just a sort of a single initial fire that's just spread? I wasn't clear on what happened there.
Yes, no, we're not clear either, Peter. The details of that are not reliable to kind of state as fact at the moment. The initial reports coming out was that it looked like it was deliberately lit. Yeah, okay. And that is obviously one where there's a crime investigation going into too, but the information to be reliable on that is just not in evidence at the moment. Okay, that'll come later. And is it known much more, going back to the helicopter pilot that died, is much known about why the helicopter crashed? No, there's not a lot of detail on that either. I think, once again, because of the nature of what may have been the initial cause. Yeah. So weather conditions not going to be necessarily helpful for firefighters today in that region? No, not at all today. The chances of rain, according to Weather Watch, if you look at Weather Watch there and put into Christchurch, what they're saying is there's zero chance of rain in Christchurch today, and they're saying that there's dry, sunny breezes to the east and northeasterly winds. Now, those northeasterly winds will continue to keep that those flames going, they would be pushing it back, arguably pushing it back in the direction of the wind, which would be heading back to where it started, where the fires started. But certainly it's a shocker. The temperatures aren't blazingly high. That's a way of describing
one consolation.
it. Yeah, one consolation. They're sitting around 21 degrees, and the overnight temperatures down there in Christchurch, because it's so much further south than where you in Adelaide are and us in Auckland, they drop right down overnight to around 12 and even below that some nights. So the hope is that this cooler weather there that's starting to show is going to continue. But the forecast is saying that there's a chance of rain, maybe tomorrow, but certainly in the night or the day after. Okay. So let's hope that the efforts of the firefighters can get some sort of a gain today.
Yeah.
But in complete contrast to up here, you wouldn't think that you'd be able to light a barbecue up here in Auckland at the moment with the rain just pouring down. So sometimes Mother Nature and the weather patterns are very cruel, aren't they?
They are, yeah, they are indeed. They are indeed. Well, we know all too well the horror of bushfires. Thankfully, we haven't had too much of that this year, or at least in South Australia. But let's hope that it all gets under control, and sooner rather than later.
Yes.
That's all we can hope. So just have a quick break, and we'll be back. We've got plenty more to talk about from your part of the world. We'll be with you again in a moment. Selwyn Manning with us from New Zealand, editor of EveningReport.nz.
In between hosting Sunrise on the 7 Network and running the Port Adelaide Football Club, SA's own David Kosh joins David and Will on 5AA Breakfast.
Colourful characters like Mick Gatto. I was sitting right behind him and I was thinking, if the AFL Integrity Unit is getting its transcript of this, I made no contact whatsoever.
Koshy, now part of the 5AA Breakfast Show.
I kept looking the other way, thinking, oh my.
Tuesday mornings from 8.
It was a colourful crowd.
Adelaide's 5AA.
Hi, it's Wayne from Wayne Phillips Kia. Hit it, boys. We've just been awarded SA's Kia Dealer of the Year for the second year running, so there's no better place to get the best experience and a ripper deal. And for this month only, we're celebrating with a chance to win free fuel for a year when you test drive any new Kia. Plus, check out the all-new Rio with Australia's best 7-year new car warranty. For your next new car, you just can't go past Wayne Phillips Kia, Main South Road, Ranella.
Think about a child in your community who's unable to stay with their birth family. Life Without Barriers are seeking foster carers to welcome a child permanently into their family, to show them compassion, to help them grow, give them opportunities, to give them a feeling of belonging. You'll have all the help you need and 24-hour support, so you won't be alone either. Life Without Barriers. Let's care. Visit lwb.org.au to find out more.
If you need a window, and not just anything will do, just call Statesman Windows. Factory direct to you.
Nobody beats Statesman Windows, not on quality and certainly not on service. Windows, sliding doors, shower screens, bifolds and more. Made right here in Adelaide, factory direct to you. For windows when and where you want them, call Statesman Windows, states.com.au.
Windows when and where you want them. Windows when and where you want them.
We used to travel from one cellar door to another, searching for the perfect drop. McLaren Vale to the Barossa, Clare to Coonawarra. Now we just travel to the one respected location, Powell's, Parafield Airport Liquor Store. It's where the best cellar door wines all unite in the one place. Sure, there's other liquor stores, but Powell's is like no other. I'm so impressed, they now do all our corporate drinks. Oh, and if you're truly into whiskies, Scottish to Japanese, look no further.
Powell's, it's where the corporate big guys get all the great deals.
Love food? Then you'll love shopping at Northwood Foodland. With fresh Aussie fruit and veg, our own in-store bakery, and world-class gourmet goods. There's no doubt we love our food. There's heaps of options to suit all lifestyles too, from organic to gluten-free, vegan and more. Plus, with free parking for 2 hours, you'll even have time to grab a coffee while you're here. See why our customers love shopping at Norwood Foodland. Find us at the Parade Norwood.
Hi, Susanna Toop here from Toop & Toop. Are you thinking about investing in property? Now is one of the busiest times of the year in real estate, in both sales and property investment. So it's the right time to have a chat to one of our experts about adding to your property portfolio. Our experienced Toop & Toop property investment team are here to help guide you throughout the process, step by step. So chat to one of our team today to take the next step on your property investment journey on 8362 8888 or visit toop.com.au.
Peter Godfrey, talking Adelaide on 1395 5AA.
Well, we're actually talking New Zealand at the moment. Selwyn Manning, editor of EveningReport.nz, is with us now. Selwyn, was it 2010, the Pike River mine disaster?
Yes.
That far back. There was families of those who died in that coal mine disaster met with your new PM, Bill English. What happened there at that meeting?
That happened last night. Peter, so the purpose of the meeting was for those families to actually express themselves to the highest level of government clearly that their wish was that the mine not be sealed, and that they're trying to get their loved ones' bodies recovered from the place where they were killed inside the mine. Now, the difficulty here is that over a long period of time, the mine has been deemed to be too dangerous for anybody to enter to start recovery operations. In the early part of last year, conditions in the mine were reported as becoming more favourable to a recovery. And by the end of last year, 2016, it was believed by a number of experts that it was safe enough for people to go in and recover the bodies of those that perished in the Pike River mine disaster. Now, the mine itself, Peter, is owned by Solid Energy, which is a state-owned, it's a government-owned company. And initially, the former Prime Minister John Key had promised the families that no matter what, the bodies would be recovered and would be given their proper burials. That promise was, because of the safety factors, it was probably foolish of them to give that kind of promise in the early stages anyway. But that said, because of the conditions deteriorating or not improving in the mine, that promise was reneged upon. And clearly, the loved ones of those that had fallen or been killed in that mine were not satisfied with that, particularly when reports were that it was becoming more favourable to a recovery operation. Now, it's been a long number of months where the families and their supporters have been picketing the mine to prevent contractors from sealing the entrance to the mine. And a lot of contractors, it must be said, that are not wanting to go in against the wishes of those families and seal the front. That would be a permanent seal, by the way, if they had have done. So there's been a standoff there between the government and the families due to those wishes. So that's the backstory to it. Now, there was a breakthrough. Of course, we've got a new Prime Minister, Bill English. He comes from the south of the South Island, perhaps has more affinity to the people of the region down there, and he agreed to meet with those families last night. And he did so. The families and Bill English met. They discussed all of the pros and cons of this particular thing, and he made a call that it would not be sealed. So that's a big breakthrough for those families that are still hoping that the bodies of their loved ones will be retrieved. The details of whether or not that is the latter part relating to a recovery operation, whether or not that's going to begin or commence, have yet to be made. And obviously, I think the government will be making sure that their people assess the safety of such efforts before giving the go-ahead for that to commence. So that is something, that's a big win anyway at this stage for those families down there that have been absolutely felt like they were absolutely kicked in the guts by the government, despite previous promises to the contrary on it.
Okay, so that's a good step forward. And one final item, Selwyn, something a little bit unusual-ish on your roads. You've had a couple of issues with road congestion, gridlock, in fact.
Gridlock,
yeah. What's happened? So this is all around Auckland, particularly.
Yeah, the holiday season, is general, isn't it? Yeah, I guess for most big cities and things like that, but certainly the north and south arterial routes in and out of Auckland over the anniversary weekend periods that have just concluded, the roads have been in gridlock, just heavy traffic all over the place. It was made worse most recently, Peter, with a car was heading just close to the Harbour Bridge and pulls over in the fast lane of the motorway there and burst into flames, and that was in a blazing inferno for quite a while before firefighters and others could get there to actually put the thing out. So there's a lot of footage online about that thing going up. And then about a day later, a cat, Peter. It had commuters, thousands, hundreds of thousands, if not, tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of drivers actually stopped in gridlock, where the cat had decided to have a stroll up the motorway.
As cats do, they'll stroll wherever they want.
And then got a bit spooked by all the traffic and everyone looking at it, tooting horns and carrying on, I suppose. So anyway, it took a wee while for that cat to be picked up, removed from the scene, and for traffic to actually start to flow again. So there you go, Peter. I think there was a program, Highway Patrol in New Zealand motorways, that used to screen in Australia.
Yes, it still does, yeah, I think. Yeah.
Does it? Yeah, well, people who are familiar with that program will probably get an idea of what I'm talking about and the chaos that...
Oh, this will come up on there, no doubt, in due course.
No doubt it'll be in that program.
The cat one almost sounds like something out of a Bugs Bunny cartoon or something like that.
Doesn't it?
With a cat calls
and everything.
Yeah. Oh, there we go.
Typical cat.
Yes, indeed. Absolutely. All right, Selwyn, many thanks for your time this morning. Our thoughts will be with all those around Christchurch. Let's hope those fires get under control pretty quick, smart. Stay safe. Have a great week, and we'll talk to you again next week.
Take care out there.
Thanks, Selwyn. All the best. Bye-bye. Selwyn Manning in New Zealand, editor of EveningReport.nz. Coming up to 28 after 5, and Stone in a couple of minutes with all the latest 5AA news, sport and weather.
Hello. Frank Walker from National... This week only at National Tiles, we've got beautiful polished porcelain floor tiles at under $20 per square metre. Yes, that's right. This week only at National Tiles, beautiful polished porcelain floor tiles from under $20 per square metre. Go online to the best tile website in Australia, nationaltiles.com.au. National Tiles. Mile End, Nailsworth and Wingfield.
Thank you. The whole team at Agostino Mitsubishi would like to say thank you for your support over the last 25 years. We promise to continue to provide the best deals, best service and best experience. Right now, we're having a genuine 2016 plate clearance sale with huge savings across the entire Mitsubishi range. So it really is a great time to buy. Thanks again from Agostino Mitsubishi for the best deals, best service and best experience. 2 great locations. Agostino.com.au.
Howdy guys, it's Cozzy here. Do you know a hero in your local community? Someone who goes above and beyond to help their fellow South Aussies? Well, here's your chance to give them the recognition they deserve. Statewide Super is South Australia's very own industry super fund, and they're looking for the next statewide superhero. The winning hero gets a whopping $4,000 plus an extra $1,000 to donate to their chosen charity. Get in quick though, nominations close Friday the 3rd of March. Visit statewide.com.au to nominate your hero.
We can fix it and deliver.
4-day sale now on. This Friday to Monday only. Up to 50% off. Hurry to your nearest showroom today or visit doorsplus.com.au.
Doors Plus, no fuss.
Sometimes little things can turn into big things. Jammed garden taps, blocked watering systems. Give Ken a call today and see how easy and affordable it is to fix them. Give Ken a call. Ken Hall Plumbers, 8364 5855.
This is Adelaide's 5AA.
Partly cloudy and 28 today. It's 5:30. I'm Ann Stone. SA Power Networks has apologised for its role in last week's widespread blackouts. An investigation into the load shedding exercise, which resulted in 90,000 properties losing power for up to 45 minutes, has revealed SA Power Networks shed 3 times more than necessary due to a computer software error. But SAPN's Paul Roberts reassures customers staff were quick to respond.
Our people in our network control room within 10 minutes had identified there was an issue with the software. It seemed to be saying only 86 megawatts had been load shed when it was about 270 megawatts. They stopped the program immediately, and we then instituted a process for restoring power for customers.
And SAPN is now investigating what caused the glitch. Grant Hackett is reportedly being treated in hospital following his arrest at his parents' Gold Coast home. Hackett's brother Craig says the former champion swimmer is a danger to himself and the community, and his family has run out of answers to help him deal with what has become a chronic problem. Hackett was arrested yesterday after becoming agitated and verbally abusive to his father Nev, who says calling the police was the only option. The federal government may be forced to split its welfare legislation in a bid to get at least some measures passed before this year's budget. More from Michael Packy.
The so-called Omnibus Bill contains 16 measures designed to reform Australia's welfare system, all in one piece of